Welcome to the Writers Workout Conference, the first one ever. I'm going to be talking about book talk and TikTok marketing. So let's get on this journey together. So first of all, who am I and who am I to speak about TikTok? So I only have 14.6 thousand followers on TikTok, which does not make me an influencer in any way, shape, or form. However, what I am doing right now is getting my second master's degree in communications, marketing, and new media. And what I am focusing my study on and all of my research on is actually book talk, the advancement of book talk, how book talk happened, how authors can utilize book talk as a mode for building reader communities, building your reader platform. And so that's why I am here talking to you about this subject today. So, who am I other than that? I am the owner of Wilding Publishing. We serve to publish people who are either emergent writers or authors who can't find a home within big publishing, or even just their story does not fit the mold of what big publishing is looking for right now. We like to nurture friendships, collaboration, we like to nurture collaboration between publishing professionals and authors. I earned my MFA in creative writing in 2019, right before the COVID shutdown. I run the Young Writers and Young Filmmakers Workshop at Messiah University. I am also a faculty member for the online MFA at Southern New Hampshire University, and I am the author of 2 books, several ghost written works, articles, short stories, all sorts of things. And basically, what I enjoy doing is nurturing authors, helping them to get ahead and find their place within the publishing community. So, when we're talking about social media, we are looking at all the different platforms and which would be best for you. How do you figure out which platform you should utilize? Well, let's talk about it a little bit. We have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have Instagram, we now have Blue Sky, we have TikTok, and we have YouTube. So, which platform should authors hitch themselves to? That is totally within what works for you. So, what I like to tell people to do is figure out who your reader is. Come up with 3 biographies of who possible readers are. Give them a name, give them a persona. How do they look? What is their education level? What is their socioeconomic background? What are their hobbies? What is their family life like? Are they married? Do they have kids? Are they single? How old are they? All of these questions go into forming 3 bios for 3 people who would read your book. And of course, the bios are representative of the entire community that that person represents. Now sit back and think about these bios. Sit back and think about these people you've created. Where are they on social media? Where would they hang out? Where is that demographic? You should think about going there once you figure it out. At the same time, a lot of people talk about TikTok as if it's only teenagers, like teenagers dancing or teenagers doing pranks. And that is just not true. Now, when you first join the app, what you are faced with is a slew of really odd videos because the algorithm doesn't know who you are yet. And I have heard so many people say, I was on there for a day and got off right away. They didn't give it time. Give it time. What happens is you search for things that you like. When videos come up that you are interested in, you generally engage with them. So you like, you share, you follow, you make comments, you talk to people in the comment thread. And what that does is teaches the algorithm what you want to see, and it will show you more of that. That's not to say that videos that you don't like aren't going to pop up every now and then. They are, but you just don't engage with them, and the algorithm will learn who you are. Now, the algorithm changes, so sometimes you have to go through this process, but the reality is that the algorithm learns you and shows you what you want to see. So you do have to give it time, but it is well worth that time to train the algorithm for yourself. So don't discount TikTok just because you went on for one day and it didn't show you things that you like. give it a chance. But that being said, you should go, and we'll talk about this a little bit later. You should go where you can be consistent and where you enjoy it. So if you get on TikTok and you find that after a few days of creating videos, you really hate making short form videos, that is okay. That just means it's not the platform for you. There's no problem with that. You should be authentic to who you are. So if you get into a social media platform that you absolutely hate, don't stick around. There's no reason. You can build communities in all of these places. So let's talk about BookTok history for a little bit. BookTok, a community within TikTok. Of course, in TikTok, there are different communities that use hashtags. So there's BookTok, there's spiritual talk, there's dog talk, there's all sorts of different communities. It's just a hashtag, and whatever you're interested in, you can generally find your community. Once upon a time, I actually found Grammar Talk and I became a very happy soul. So let's talk about BookTok as a community itself. So BookTok started trending in 2020, and there's no confusion as to the reason why. We were in COVID shutdown. And readers and all sorts of people wanted to connect with other people in a very kind of authentic way. We wanted to see other people's faces. We wanted to engage with other people. TikTok was a great way to do this because when you start really watching a creator, you start to feel some sort of connection with them. And that connection is really important for growing your reader base. So what happened with BookTok is it caused an uptick in sales of books, just books across the board. More people started reading. Now you could say this is BookTok, you could say this is COVID, but a lot of people said, I heard about this book on BookTok. When BookTok started, authors who were on BookTok were mostly either independent or self-publishing authors, and they began to grow their reader base and became successful at selling their books. From that, larger authors, like authors with the big five, started to notice and throw their hat into the ring as well. And so we saw with Colleen Hoover's book, she wrote it in 2016. It became a bestseller in 2022, which is like unheard of because it was part of her backlist. The book Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover really just went viral on BookTok. And from that, publishers and bookstores such as Barnes & Noble started noticing and started using this in their marketing. And why this works so well for marketing is that it is essentially word of mouth marketing. So if a creator is taking money from a publisher to talk about a book, they're not going to be trusted in the community very much because people want, again, I'm going to say this word a lot, authenticity. Readers want authentic reviews. They don't want to feel as if the review is fake because the creator is being given money to make the review. All publishing companies have to do is send out book boxes to influencers and those with large accounts. Not an expensive way to go, and it's very kind to their marketing budget. So that's what they started doing. And now a lot of the influencers only talk about large publishing because they are getting these books for free. However, there is indie book talk for self-publishing and independent authors that is starting to grow because people want to read from self-publishing and independent authors because they find them interesting. They don't fit the mold for big publishing, and they want to support authors that are really just bootstrapping it. So look for, when you're doing hashtags, look for BookTok, look for indie BookTok as well. So why TikTok? Why is TikTok so, I think, in my opinion, good for marketing? Why? First of all, connection. I talked a little bit about this already, but when you are seeing a creator's videos day after day, you learn about them. They're posting 1 to 5 videos a day. You really start to begin to feel as if you know that person. And if you are making connections with that person, if you are discussing things in that person's comments, if you are going into that person's lives and making comments and making those connections, then you do become friends. They recognize you, you recognize them. And what do we do with friends? We support them. We support them and buy their books. So that connection is incredibly important. It's very personal. Even though, there are thousands of people watching this person's videos, it feels more personal, like the author that you are buying from. And that is a good feeling, and that is a trust thing. Discoverability is huge on TikTok because they put your videos out to people in other communities. They give you the opportunity to grow by showing your video to people who aren't in your area, to people who aren't necessarily following you, to people who are in different parts of the world, which means you can be found. So it's not like on Facebook where the only people who are really seeing your posts are your friends. It goes beyond your friends, which helps you grow your reader base. The one thing I want to talk about is that TikTok is a great way to drive traffic to your website. And you should think about this with every social media platform that you are on. Find ways to drive traffic to your website, to your Amazon author account, to your Substack, to your Medium account, to other social medias. Find ways to do this. You can do this great with Linktree. There are a few other applications that do this where they list all of your links in one place. Once you have around 1,000 followers on TikTok, they allow you to put a link in your bio. That link can be a link to your Linktree where people can find you. This is incredibly important because TikTok is always on threat of being shut down by the government. Do I think it's going to be shut down? I don't think so. But we remember MySpace, right? We remember that MySpace just felt like it went away like this because everybody shifted their focus over to Facebook. And then suddenly we lost those connections that we had on MySpace. This can happen on any app at any time. Make sure that people have an alternative way to find you, whether you are on Facebook, especially Twitter, whether you are on TikTok, whether you are on Blue Sky. If you have a large following, you're going to want to make sure that they can find you. So always have links to your link tree. What is important on TikTok? Consistency, engagement, authenticity. So let's talk about it. Consistency. If you cannot post 1 to 6 times on TikTok a day, maybe it's not an application for you. When you are just starting up, you should post every day. People say 3 videos is perfect. Other people just say 1. But every day you should be consistent about your posting so that you can grow your base. Engagement is incredibly important on TikTok. When people make a comment on your video, comment back. In other people's videos, make comments, get into discussions with other people. Another great way to grow your base is to go into lives and have conversations with people in the lives in the comment section. This is a way that you can get a following without appearing on video. So definitely, I like to tell people that when they're first starting TikTok, start there. Start with engagement. Start wrestling with topics that are on TikTok. Start doing things like that. Start following people and commenting in their comment sections. Get yourself known in that way. Be authentic. Okay, here's the thing. If you start doing videos and you hate doing videos, it's going to show you're not being authentic. TikTok viewers can tell if someone hates doing it. So if you hate doing it, don't do it. No. Use another social media platform. Go where you love it. Is TikTok perfect? Absolutely not. No, it's not perfect. So if there's no harm in saying, you know what, I don't like making short form videos every day. Now with consistency, let's back up a little bit. Does this mean that you literally have to make 1 to 3, 1 to 5 videos every single day? No, choose one day and make a whole bunch of videos and then post them throughout the week. The other thing that I want to talk about, which goes along with consistency and authenticity. Some people say, I don't feel like putting my makeup on. I don't feel like doing my hair. I don't feel like looking like a model today. Here's the thing about TikTok. That authenticity thing, Nobody's expecting supermodels on TikTok. You don't have to look like a supermodel to boost yourself. You don't have to look like a supermodel for TikTok to catch on to you. Being authentic is a huge thing. So you can roll out of bed in your PJs and have a big old messy bun on the top of your hair and be just fine on TikTok. The one thing that you need to understand about TikTok marketing is that it is word of mouth marketing. Focus on organic engagement. So just set yourself up to the fact that it may take a while for you to grow your readership. And that is okay, because at one point someone is going to come along and say something about you, and then you're going to spiral. You're going to get people duetting you. You're going to get people sharing it. You never know when you're going to go viral. And so that word of mouth shows that you are trustworthy. It's people stitching you, it's people duetting you, it's people coming into your comment section and talking, it's people talking about your books to other people. It is organic word of mouth marketing. Okay, so you just have to be patient. You are building a community of readers here. You're not looking for a quick sale. So, like I said, going viral, trending, how does this occur? How can you make a video trend? Okay, so the algorithm changes like once every 3 months. And as soon as you learn the algorithm, it changes again. It becomes frustrating. And then when the algorithm changes, you go down to like the 200 view mark. But then slowly the algorithm comes back and you go back to your 500 to 1,000 views that you were used to after spending all of that time building. But it can be helpful if you notice when it changes. Don't get upset when it changes. Know that when it does change, you're going to get less traction. At the same time, the algorithm, when you are on the cusp of a new kind of level of following, so let's say you hit 3,000 followers, the algorithm will push you out to a lot of people to give you that boost. Those times are really good to talk about your book. Okay, so if you're on the cusp of a new level of followers, talk about your book. You have a higher level chance of going viral. Use sounds and hashtags. We're going to inspect this a little bit later on in the talk, but trending sounds and hashtags, watch for them. You're not on TikTok just to make your own videos. You need to see what is popular on the application. Spend some time looking at other people's videos, but be careful, it becomes addicting. High engagement. You want something that is going to keep people interested. Jump right in. When you start your video, start speaking immediately. Have something that grabs attention immediately when you start your video. And always leave them with some sort of call to action. It's just like journalism, with some sort of call to action to have them do something. Okay. Make content that you enjoy making. It just goes back to before when I mentioned that if you don't like being on TikTok, don't be on TikTok. So if you don't like getting dressed up in big old medieval gear and wearing a tiara and doing your hair up in a bun and things like that, don't do it. Don't do it. You don't have to. Everybody says it takes so long to make a TikTok. It doesn't take long to make a TikTok when all you're doing is talking to your followers. That doesn't take long. It doesn't have to be this high performance thing each and every time. Now, those high performance things, they help to garner interest, but it doesn't have to be that way all the time. Go for it. Like, have fun. That's why we're here. Have fun. The byproduct is selling books. Okay. Interact and engage. I know I talked about this before, but really that is the key to TikTok. Interact and engage. When somebody comments on your videos, make sure to comment back and go a step further. If someone leaves an interesting comment, create a video about that comment. Engage with one another, enter the conversation. Niching. Okay, so I am back and forth about niching. I don't like niching. I want to do what I want to do. I want to have fun. So if I want to talk about spirituality one day, I'm going to talk about spirituality one day. If I want to talk about how I write books the next day, I'm going to talk about how I write books the next day. I went kicking and screaming into niching And I don't think I'm doing a very good job of niching either. So let's be honest. So if you do niche and all of your videos have to do with a certain topic, that's great. I think you're going to get more followers. Hashtags are incredibly important because it is how TikTok guides your video to the right person. Okay. So there are two types of hashtags: trending and targeted. Trending hashtags are those hashtags that all the big creators are using. When you see a big creator come up, look at what their hashtags are. Take note of the hashtags that are in their description. Use them if they have something to do with your topic. Okay. If they don't do that. It confuses the algorithm. But make sure that it has something to do with your topic. Targeted then. Targeted is where you put in indie book talk. Targeted is where you put in book talk. Targeted is when you put in all of your reading topics. The one thing I do want to tell you is don't completely rely only on book talk. Let's say you're writing a story and your character is neurodivergent. Look for that community on TikTok. Use their hashtags. So if you have someone with autism or ADHD, find the hashtags that are used for those communities and also use those. You have to use BookTok as a mode to find readers, but use the other hashtags as a mode for finding the different communities that would also like reading your books. So what kinds of things can you do on TikTok? Again, I'm going to say it time and time again. Do what you enjoy. Do what you enjoy. Try a few things out. Don't stick yourself with one type of video every single time. Try skits. Skits are fun. I love, there was a trend a little while ago that I wish would come back where authors would act like one of the characters in their books, and you wouldn't know. They'd be telling a story of what happened to their character in their book, and you wouldn't know that it was an ad for their book until they said, buy this book. And it's just like, oh. And it's really cool because it introduces the reader to your characters, which is huge. So think of interesting ways to do skits. What can you do? Acting as a character in your book, like I said, page flips. Page flips are great. So page flip accounts are just, this is a book that Wild Ink put out. This is The Proof, Fury's Fate by Shane Long. So some people never show their face and they just have a song and they flip through pages. And people love that. So like this author just did the dedication in her book. And that was really sweet. And so, yeah, just page flips are an easy way. There are whole TikTok channels of page flips. And you know what? The surprising thing is they do very well. You don't have to show your face. Also, the other thing is talk about your writing process. Don't just talk about your book. We're going to go into this in a bit in the next slide, but don't always just talk about your book. Talk about your writing process. How do you write? Talk about your publishing process. Talk about your path to publishing. If you are trying to find an agent right now, talk about it. People want to know these things. This is a great way for people to get to know authors, to get to know the industry. Talk about it. You don't always have to talk about your book. And I think this is true of every social media platform because I have this rule, the 80-20 rule. 80% of the time, you should not be talking about your book. 20% of the time, you should be talking about your book. Why? Because people get tired of being sold to. Now, this caveat. When I first graduated with my MFA and got a publishing deal, I felt nervous talking about my book too much because I thought that people would get tired of hearing about it. And I had a very good friend tell me, Abby, this is your job as an author. If people get upset about it, oh well, but this is your job as an author. You have to talk about your book because how else is anybody ever going to hear about your book? You have to talk about your book. So 20% of the time, talk about your book and don't feel shame about talking about your book. You have to. It's a part of the job description. Okay. Even if you don't have a book coming out yet, talk about your writing process. Talk about your upcoming book. Reality is that you should be working on your reader base while you're writing your book. Feel no shame. Talk about your book 20% of the time, even if it's not out yet, even if you're still writing it. Talk about your characters, talk about your setting, talk about your premise. Not enough so that someone steals your idea, but talk about it. 80% of the time, do other things. Okay, do funny things, tell other stories, talk about the writing process, talk about the publishing, stitch and duet other people's videos that you find funny, or things that upset you. Talk about things that upset you. Talk about your family. Let people get to know you. Post all sorts of things, whatever interests you, even if it has nothing to do with books. Post about it. People are getting to know you so that they trust you as an author. And just like I said before, they feel like you are their friend. They feel that you are important to them because they are getting to know you. What if you don't want to show your face? Okay, like I said earlier, yeah, page flips are a great way to talk about your book without ever showing your face. The other thing is, you could record videos as you're taking a walk through your neighborhood and never show your face, but you're talking. I know there are a number of creators that still wear like the COVID mask on TikTok because they don't want to show their face. There are multiple reasons why somebody would not want to show their face. It could be work, it could be anything. So you don't have to, like, if you're writing like erotica and you're a school teacher, maybe you don't want to show your face. You just have to be creative about how you do it. There are plenty of really popular accounts that never show their faces. There is a companion application to TikTok called CapCut that allows you to make interesting videos where you would never have to show your face. And so take a look at that. You can take photos of what you believe your characters would look like. You can make aesthetic videos with like images of the feel of your book, things like that. Okay, tangled webs. There are a lot of pitfalls to being on TikTok, so let's talk about a few of them. Give credit where credit is due. Okay, just like you wouldn't want someone stealing your intellectual content, please do not steal somebody else's intellectual content, which means if there is a video that someone put out that you really like and you want to recreate it in your own way, please give that other creator credit, okay? Either in your comments or your description. Please give them credit for their intellectual ideas. What TikTok is all about is sharing ideas and using and building trends. And trending means that people are going to do things that other people have done. If it's something that you saw somebody else do and you want to do it, that is fine. Just give credit. Watch your sounds, stay legal. If you are talking about your book, okay, if it's a book, even if it's not completely written yet, you are hoping to grow your reader base, which will turn out in sales. Therefore, you are marketing your book. There are commercial sounds that people who are trying to sell something are allowed to use on TikTok. Does that mean that you can't ever use a trending sound when you're doing something other than talking about your book? No, go for it, But if you are talking about your book, don't use Taylor Swift, don't use Ariana Grande, don't use something that is trademarked. Well, you could get into trouble if you do that. So TikTok has a grouping of sounds that are good for businesses to use. So take a look at that and use those when you are talking about your book. Stay out of reviews. This is huge. This is huge. If you come upon a video that is giving your book a negative review, don't say a word. Zip, throw away the key. Just scroll on by. Review spaces are safe spaces for readers. If authors start getting into these spaces, reviewers don't feel safe to give reviews. Please, there have been so many people who have gone after reviewers for bad reviews or made comments in bad reviews. Just stay out of it. That's why I tell authors, like, I know that everybody likes to be in Goodreads, but if you don't want to read bad reviews, don't go on the application. Don't go on the website. Don't do it. And don't comment if somebody gives you a bad review. Don't do it. I can't say this enough because you will end up on authors behaving badly. Review spaces are safe spaces for readers. They are not for authors. Okay. And the other thing that you have to think about, okay, is that if you do come upon, because you can scroll through anything and come upon a negative review of your book, if that happens, Somebody else is watching that review and they say to themselves, wow, okay, what this person hated about this book is something that I love about books, so I'm going to buy it. So even negative reviews can be good for authors. The other thing is on Amazon, which is not TikTok, but on Amazon, you need 60 reviews before it starts pushing your book out as like suggestions. Okay. It doesn't matter how many stars you have. It doesn't matter if you have a negative review. That review counts towards you getting moved up in the algorithm. Let go of your ego. Try not to be a person who's embroiled in drama. I know this is hard. I know this is hard. And sometimes you want to say what you want to say and be a part of the drama. And sometimes being a part of the drama gets you a few followers, but they're following you for the wrong reasons. They're following you because they like to watch drama. I mean, decide for yourself. If you find that sort of thing fun, like I said, it has to be enjoyable to you, then go for it. I just think then the people are following you to hear drama, and that's not necessarily what you want them there for. Okay. You want them there to form a connection with you and to one day become your reader, right? Sometimes when you get to a certain size of an account, like I'm on the verge of that, you can get people who want to take you down. That is all part of letting go of your ego. It's okay. You can delete comments if they leave comments on your video. You're allowed to do that. That is your safe space. That is your channel. If someone says something crappy, do not feel bad about deleting and blocking. Okay, so we're gonna talk a little bit about TikTok ads. So TikToks, you can boost videos and you can put out ads for videos. The one thing that you have to look at is ROI, return on investment. Take a look and think to yourself, okay, if I pay to boost this, what am I looking for? Am I looking for more followers? Am I looking for people to buy my book? Okay. If you are looking for people to buy your book, how many people have to buy your book from this boosted or this ad to make the cost of it worth it? You can do TikTok marketing, which is more word of mouth without doing ads. You can be more organic. You don't have to spend the money. You can spend the money. It really is up to your goals, how much you're willing to invest, and what you have to make back to make it worth it. If you do decide that you want to take part in TikTok ads or boosting videos, research and know your audience. Look back at your past videos. What performed well? So I always say, like, watch what the large creators do, learn from them just by watching them. But when you enter into ads and boosting, watch what you do. Take good notice into your own analytics. Okay. And when you do your ad, make sure you are following along with the trends that are happening in your own channel. That's what you want to do. So, what do you do on an ad? People love stories. Humans love storytelling. You guys are storytellers. Use that skill. Tell a story. Be funny. Or tug at heartstrings. Tell a sad story that someone's gonna, like, that someone's going to really think about, someone's going to really consider, work it into your book, talk about a large issue within your book, to anything to garner attention. Something people like emotions, whether that's happiness, laughter, anger, sadness. People are drawn to videos that elicit an emotional response. Okay, so TikTok shop. So, okay, I have not started utilizing TikTok shops. However, I have started researching them because I want to start using them. The thing that you need to understand is that it is best to have stock on hand if you're going to run a TikTok shop. Okay, let's say someone orders and then you go and order it on Ingram or KDP. It could take too long to get to the reader, and TikTok shops will shut your shop down. TikTok has this rule where the thing that the person bought, whether merchandise, has to be shipped within 5 to 7 days. And that is just not possible with printing through Ingram or printing through KDP. So I don't think that in this case, drop shipping is going to work for TikTok shops. You have to have the stock on hand. So what you can do is go to a local print shop in your area and have some books printed and start with a small amount. Okay. Sell those. And if it goes well, use the money that you earned on those sales to order more books and it will just start to snowball. TikTok shops are doing great, but you must have stock on hand. Okay. This is a relationship based platform. Whether or not like it's crazy because you will never see most of the people in real life at all, but it is still relational based. So make sure before you start your TikTok shop that you have a connection with the people who are following you. Potential buyers have to see something 7 times before they will purchase on average, which means you're going to have to be talking about your book. You're going to have to be talking about your TikTok shop. You're just going to have to do it. Now, what I am waiting for TikTok shops to do is to allow digital materials such as ebooks to be sold. They are allowing videos at the point of this recording where you can purchase a video and watch that. So I think it's just a little bit of time before they allow ebooks. I'm hoping by the time writers work out, the conference happens, that it is a reality that TikTok shops will allow ebooks. That is what I am ready and preparing to jump in on is digital materials, ebooks. So just keep a lookout on that. I think that is going to be amazing for the TikTok platform because, you know, if you're selling a book for 99 cents or 1.99, people are going to buy because it's like it's only 99 cents. It's only 2.99. That's not that bad. Like I'm interested. I'm going to buy it. It's not that much of an investment and they don't have to go off app to do so. So I am ready for that to happen. Keep watching. All right, so some final thoughts. TikTok can take a lot of time. Okay. Sometimes if you are worrying about hashtags, if you are worrying about what you're wearing, if you're worrying about editing videos using CapCut, it takes a lot more time to do a TikTok than it does to throw up a tweet. Okay. So know that going into it. Is that an investment that is worth it for growing a reader base for you? And are you going to enjoy doing it? Are you going to enjoy taking that time to do it? If you're not going to enjoy it, don't bother. No one's making you. It is perfectly acceptable to not be on TikTok. Also, but if you are going to be on TikTok, please be consistent with it. Generally try to have at least one video every day. And the whole key to TikTok is relationship building. All right, guys, thank you for listening to my presentation. I hope to see you on TikTok someday. Happy writing. Bye.